Meet Me in London, book by Georgia Toffolo. Chapter 6. What did you say? He wants you to be his pretend fiancé? Lily's pretty face on the laptop screen was incredulous. She gaped at Victoria as if she thought she was completely out of her mind. She was probably right. Victoria couldn't stop her hands from trembling as she propped the laptop next to an empty dishwasher basket on the bar, all the better to speak to her friend in Devon. She'd come straight back from Oliver's second proposal and known exactly who she needed to talk to about this. I know, it sounds crazy, but it's just for the opening of a store. Basically, his mother is determined to marry him off and keeps foisting dates on him with all her friends' single daughters. Lily was walking along the beach at Hawks Cove, the wind whipping her hair. Her eyes were as dark as the sullen, wintry sky. I don't know about this, V. It's very sudden. It's not like it's a real engagement. I barely know the guy. Which is not convincing me that it's a great thing to do. Lily shook her head, then scraped her wayward hair back from her face. Her cheeks were pink and flushed from the notoriously biting sea salt wind down there. It seems like a risky game to play, even if it is for a good cause. And for his parents. Eric Russell was famous for being a hardy and dynamic retail mogul. He was often in the media, and there was often speculation about his business and slick takeover maneuvers. Was his illness in the public domain too? She didn't know, but it wasn't for her to tell Lily. But her friend's shock was now morphing into real concern. Please be careful, V. They're a powerful family. It's for one night, that's all. It's just a few little white lies for everyone's benefit. But Lily's caution was making Victoria even more nervous. She wished she hadn't agreed, but she couldn't exactly change her mind now. She wished, for the first time in a while, she was back at the home she couldn't wait to leave and walking with Lily on the beach, living a simple life. Instead of being here, walking herself into difficult situations with men she didn't know. A billionaire, for God's sake. How will you get to know him enough before the opening? Are you going to meet up beforehand and swap stories or something? We didn't discuss details. I don't know. I thought... What had she thought? Exactly nothing beyond, will you pretend to be my fiancé? Truth was, she'd been so surprised by his request that she turned a bright shade of beetroot and backed out of his room. She needed to process it, like this, with her friend. She'd agreed to lie to a powerful businessman who had contacts in high places in return for her students to get a step up the design ladder. What could possibly go wrong? Just about everything. So, yes, she probably was quite as crazy as Lily thought she was. I'm going to look him up on the internet. Lily shook her head. There are some things you can only find out by face-to-face contact. What if he isn't a nice person? Her values were very close to Victoria's. For them, life wasn't about the money. It was about spending time with good people and doing something positive in the world, helping others. Having both been on the receiving end of help after the accident, not physical but psychological in Lily's case, they wanted to give back. I think he is. He seems okay. Victoria had a bad feeling she knew enough about him to keep her interest well piqued. But knowing he had gorgeous guns, mesmerizing eyes, and a smile that did something strange to her tummy possibly wouldn't be enough to convince his mother that she was adequately acquainted to be marrying her son. Otherwise, she might come over as a gold digger, interested only in his bank account and nothing else, and that was not the impression she wanted to give of herself, fake fiancé or otherwise. You're right, though. We probably need to get together to get our facts straight. If you're going to impress his mother, which if I'm honest, seems like a weird excuse to me. You know, she does sound like a meddling over-smotherer, but the way he looked when he talked about her made me think he doesn't believe that. He cares that his parents are happy. That's got to be a good sign, right? And the best thing is that my students get to showcase their designs on the catwalk in front of invited guests, VIPs, people of influence, people who could change their lives. People like you, V, you've changed their lives already. You care, you believe in them.
But I can't make their dreams come true, Lils. I can only help them formulate them and take a few shaky steps towards them. That's why I've sold my soul to the devil. A fake engagement, honestly. Looking back, it seemed ludicrous, but it all made perfect and reasonable sense at the time. I'm gonna get to tell them about the catwalk. Are you sure, honey? I know how much those kids mean to you, but don't go getting hurt in the process. As if. This is purely business, and I have no intention of getting involved with any man, not the least Oliver Russell. Victoria took out her phone and tapped on his name. She'd managed to stutter out a request for his contact details before she left, and he'd put them into her phone. I'm gonna message him right now. She typed, I guess we need to catch up sometime before I meet your parents, get our stories straight, that kind of thing. And to plan the runway. V. She hesitated at the V. What was texting etiquette with a man you barely knew and yet with whom you had to play intimate? Certainly not a kiss. Or should it be a kiss? Would she have sent a kiss to any other friends? Yes. To business associates? No. Sighing at her own damned insecurities, she kept the full stop and pressed send. After a few minutes of checking and rechecking, she got a message back. Dinner. Thursday night? I'll pick you up at 7. Oh. Help! She tried to control her shaking hands. She would not be intimidated by this situation, or him. Help! He wants to meet me on Thursday. Dinner. How the heck am I going to pull this off? She reminded herself, they'd agreed to do this together. How were they going to pull this off? Lily smiled. You look scared as well as just a tiny bit excited at the prospect. Are you sure there isn't something more you'd like to tell me? What? Victoria's heart rate had tripled since the text arrived. She was scared. It was going to be a huge undertaking. She'd definitely need to know things about him that his mother might ask. They'd need to write a list. She'd need to write a list. Clearly, he's available and on the market. The smile grew just a little curious. Is he hot? Those arms, that smile, that mouth. Maybe, just a little bit. V, come on. Would you have gone on a date if he'd just asked you, without the proposal? I don't know. I just don't know. After Peter, I don't want to go there again. I can't do serious. I don't even want to start. You deserve someone a lot better than Peter. Her friend almost spat the name out. Who knows where this might go? To prison for fraud? Okay, so Victoria was definitely having second thoughts. At least if you see him on Thursday, you'll have time to decide if it's going to work or not, so maybe the sooner the better. Get it over with. Or, wow. Her eyes glittered. Victoria Scott, you look excited at the prospect. I'm not. What if it goes badly wrong? You're beautiful and funny and amazing. Their parents will love you. And then I'll break their hearts when they find out it's not real. Who knows? It might get real. I can't. You know that. For all the physical reasons, sure, but I just can't bear having my heart stomped on again. I have to keep my distance. If not physically, then emotionally. But Lily was looking at me the way she had so many times when Victoria was recovering from her life-changing injuries, as if she wished she could somehow bestow all the hope and positivity in the universe into Victoria, make her believe and trust in good things happening. You can do anything you want, V. Just be safe. Say yes to the date and message me when it's over. I want to know every minute detail. It's not a date, it's a meeting. Whatever, Lily winked. Meeting schmeeting. Once bitten, twice sure she wasn't going to do it again. She had to keep it in the professional realm. And please don't tell anyone else about this, Lily. Please, I'm going to look like a right idiot if it all goes wrong. Of course not. Lily did a zipping motion with her thumb and forefinger across her lip. I won't say a word. Not even to Molly and Zoe. This was a big ask. Okay, I promise. Now text the man back. He's waiting on your answer. You're enjoying watching me squirm, aren't you? Victoria managed to laugh. It was a ridiculous situation. But whatever happened next, this had to be faced head-on. She texted, "Thursday. Yes, okay." He came right back. "See you at 7 p.m. No kiss. Good. Right, they were on the same page. He wouldn't want to kiss her, and she definitely didn't want to kiss him. She thought about his mouth, the half-smile he'd given her that made her heart squeeze, the unbidden fizz in her stomach when he smiled at her passion for fabric, which everyone else thought was a little weird. Kissing might not be such a bad thing to do, just once, to try it. No, you don't kiss your work colleagues. "Hello? Victoria?" Lily was watching her with a curious smile on her face. "I said, don't forget to ask him for a rock the size of the Shard." Victoria slid her phone back in her back trouser pocket, all the better not to reread his texts and try to decipher any other deeper meaning. "What do you mean?" "For your pretend engagement